Conduct in the City Council chambers. Rules of decorum for the public. Members of the audience shall not engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct, including the utterance of loud, threatening, or abusive language, clapping, whistling, stamping of feet, or other acts which disturb, disrupt, impede, or otherwise render the orderly conduct of the city meeting infeasible. A member of the audience engaging in any such conduct shall, at the discretion of the presiding officer or a majority of the city council, be subject to ejection from the meeting per Government Code Section 54954.3C. Removal from the council chambers. Any person who commits the following acts in respect to a meeting of the city shall be removed from the council chambers per Government Code Section 54954.3C. A, disorderly, contemptuous, or insolent behavior towards the city council or any member thereof, tending to interrupt the due and orderly course of said meeting. A breach of peace, boisterous conduct, or violent disturbance tending to interrupt the due and orderly course of said meeting. Disobedience of any lawful order from the mayor, which shall include an order to be seated or to refrain from addressing the city council, and any other unlawful interference with the due and orderly course of said meeting. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Taft City Council Successor Agency Joint Regularly Scheduled Meeting for Tuesday, July the 18th, 2023. The City of Taft Council meetings are being held in person with full capacity seating and are live streamed at www.youtube.com/user/City of Taft. Public comments can be made in person and also can be received per the following. Written comments may be dropped off in the drop box in front of City Hall. Comments may be emailed to the city clerk at cityclerk@cityoftaft.org. They may be made by phone to the city clerk's office at 661-763-1222. Public comments will be accepted up until 5 p.m. the day of the meeting, and all comments received will be read into the record. We're going to begin this evening's regularly scheduled meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and that'll be led by Councilman Chavera, followed by an invocation by John Getty. So if you would join us, please.
Right hand over heart. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Let's bow our heads, shall we? Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this evening. We thank you for your goodness. We thank you for this council and for the work that they do for our community. God, we just pray your blessing over all those gathered here tonight. God, may you be in the midst of our conversations and discussions tonight. We give you the glory, honor, and praise in Jesus' name. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Knorr.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer.
Here.
Councilmember Bryant.
Here.
Councilmember Waldrop.
Here.
And Councilmember Chavera.
Here. All right. Item number 1, Certificate of Commendation for Bob Lycum. I'm going to read this commendation, but I'm going to preface with this comment. It is never easy to decide to throw your hat into the ring to run for anything, for any office. But to be elected, to represent the people that you live with, your peers, to have them have confidence in you to make decisions and do the right thing by the community, and having to put your own interests as well as your attitudes aside is quite a responsibility. So anybody who does it takes great pride in having that opportunity, and I know, Bob, that is who you are. So let me read the City of Taft, State of California, Certificate of Commendation, presented to Bob Lycum in appreciation of his years of service on the Taft Planning Commission. Whereas Bob Lycum began his years of service on the Taft Planning Commission after being appointed by the City Council on May 7th, 2013, and whereas during his tenure on the Planning Commission, Bob presided over significant city projects, for instance, the downtown Taft Specific Plan, the Taft Transit Center, ordinance amendments to accelerate housing development, the General Plan Amendment, and Climate Action Plan in 2017, and the city's housing element update in 2015. And whereas Lycum also presided over significant private development projects, such as the Best Western Plus Taft Inn, the Bank Sports Lounge, Taco Bell, AT&T, and Verizon cell towers, Countryside Car Wash, Westside Family Healthcare Facility, Dollar General, Jack in the Box, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, Starbucks, and the grocery outlet stores, just to name a few, quite a few indeed. Whereas in the course of his service on the commission, Bob was diligent in ensuring that the commission maintained a business-friendly mindset, serving on the Economic Development Committee since its inception in 2015. And whereas the members of the City Council recognize and appreciate Bob's years of public service and dedication to the City of Taft and its citizens. Now therefore, the City Council of the City of Taft, on behalf of the citizens of the community and all city employees, hereby recognize Bob Lycum as a dedicated and valued servant of the City of Taft and its citizens, and extends their best wishes for his future endeavors. Signed this day by myself and all 4 city councilmen. Thank you very much, sir.
Can I say a couple of words?
You prepared to speak.
We're hoping you would.
You left off astronaut and Harvard grad.
You there was something that you want to know? You want a picture? Right over here, come on. Thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate your service, as does everybody else.
It's been an honor and a privilege, guys, to serve as planning commissioner for the last 10 years for this community. I love this community, but I'm at a point where it's time to pass the torch to someone else, give them the same opportunity that I had. I really had a good time with it. Thanks. Now, if you'll excuse me, Tina and I have a pickleball tournament we have to get to.
Well, that's another thing you're taking care of. Best wishes to you, Tina. I'm sure you're going to carry him. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, item number 2, public hearing, landscape maintenance district number 1. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The public hearing was set to allow the public comment concerning landscape maintenance district number 1. The engineer's report for the landscape maintenance district was received at the city council meeting June 20, 2023. The landscape maintenance district number 1 consists of track 5574, phase 1, track 5956, phases 1 through 3, track 6114, track 650, and track 7227, phase 1 and 2. The parcel assessment will remain the same levels as last year, $86. The funds from the district will be collected by the Kern County Assessor's Office and dispersed to the city at a special assessment. Those assessments, when collected, will go to the prospective funds to pay for maintenance and operation of the landscaping and lighting district.
Thank you very much, City Manager Jones. The recommendation here is first conduct a public hearing. So at this time, I'm going to open said hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on behalf of this or in opposition to this, please step forward. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, do we have any phone calls or emails regarding this?
No, sir, we did not.
All right, thank you very much. Therefore, I'm going to close this public hearing. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve a resolution entitled, "A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft Setting the Assessment for Landscape Maintenance District Number 1, and find that the activity is not a project per the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, as set forth in Section 15060C3 and Section 15378 of the CEQA guidelines."
So moved.
Second.
I
I have a motion and a second. Councilman Bryant, you had the motion. Any discussion, sir?
do have a couple points. First and foremost, I live in this area, excuse me. And I know we've kind of beat this over the head the last couple of years. We went through the Prop 218 process, and unfortunately, it wasn't successful. But the fact of the matter is that the costs are equivalent to about $112 to $120 per parcel, and currently we're paying about 85. It was 86, Craig. A very minuscule amount, something you wouldn't even notice. If you stopped going to Starbucks once a week, it would easily make up the difference, but unfortunately, the people in the area weren't really in favor of that. I would like the city staff to look at that and see if it's possible to either reduce services or cut back on landscaping. Ultimately get to the point where maybe we don't have as much landscaping costs if that's possible. That would be a request beyond the specific motion, maybe for a future consideration or even just for operational considerations. But also as a member, I wouldn't mind putting my money where my mouth is when it comes to some of the renovations, like the signs that are on the entryways. I'd like to get some costs, if the city would mind helping me find out who the vendor is or what the design standards are to replace the existing signs, and then talk to the folks around the neighborhood, see who'd be willing to pitch in to get those renovated. But the fact of the matter is that we shouldn't put the burden on the entire city. Everybody who sits in the city, by way of the general fund, contributing taxes, property taxes and whatnot, to then subsidize the landscaping lighting district, number one. And so that's why I'm asking for those services to be reduced.
All right, I thank you very much, sir. Councilman Waldrop, you seconded this motion?
Well, everything's going up. We got to adjust to whatever, but I don't see it coming down. So we got to adjust to it and do whatever's right and move on.
All right, thanks, sir. Councilman Chivera, any comments on this?
Nope, they said it well.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Crier?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, something needs to be done to get the people in that area there step up to the plate and help out and pay for the difference. But I don't want to sacrifice them not paying, that we have our area go down in quality. Appearance is very important to our city. I would like, be able to still maintain the quality of service we have there, but we need to be a little more stronger with the citizens there to help work on some way to help pay for it. I don't know how we can do that. That's something we need to work with the attorney or something, if we need to do something a little more drastic. But I just don't want to see our quality of people coming to our town and see a dried up bush or dead grass there that should have been green and stuff. That's my only concern I have.
All right, thank you very much, sir. This matter has come before the voters up there 2 different times. And I'll tell you what was really shocking to me is, for such a small area, the low participation rate in the vote. I will tell you, that shocked me. The outcome, notwithstanding, the participation rate was something else. This is the people's government. This is your opportunity to have a say in it. You bought a house in that area, and you, I would think, would take pride in the appearance of that. You're talking about the monument signs at the entrance, and I understand that. I was quite surprised. So we'll have to see what we're able to do, because for a very long time, it has cost more to keep that up than has been contributed. And it's not like it's not known. Mm-hmm. All right, at this time, I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Crier?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop?
Yes.
Councilmember Chivera?
Yes.
And Mayor Nor.
Yes, thank you very much. Now pass on a 5-0 vote. Madam Clerk, do we have any citizens request public comments? Yes, we do. Okay, I get to read this then. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 3 on the agenda, citizen request public comments. Comments are to be received as stated in the above policy. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the city council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. First up, we have John Ryan wanting to address the council. If you would please, sir, step forward.
Thank you, Mayor Nor, members of the council. My name is John Ryan. I live at 406 San Emilio, the first Habitat for Humanity house built in 2003. We moved in July, and it is now July 2023. It's a 20-year anniversary, and it was paid off the first of this month. So we'd like to thank the city for the ordinance they had back then, because we had to have a garage put in also. So we got the first garage Habitat for Humanity built in Kern County. So it's been 20 great years, notwithstanding hardships, because those help build the foundation. We're looking forward to 88 more great years, give or take 5 or 10. And we'd just like to thank you all. I know you weren't there back then. Les was there, but you are city builders, and we're looking forward to start the one over on Third and Calvin, waiting on some dirt work to get done, and you all are builders, so I hope to see you there. And people on TV land, yeah, you can show up. Hammers, handshakes, and hugs. So we'd like to thank the city for doing this. I'm going to miss the ladies at the desk showing up every month. Yvette, thank you. Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thanks for coming before the council. It's a wonderful program, and it's hard to believe it's gone by that quickly.
It has, yeah. The dates got messed up, so my family's not here. My wife's on, my son Alfred, and my daughter Angelica, they're all working. I forgot to tell them. My mistake.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Congratulations.
All right, next speaker would be Terry O'Neill with West Side Rec.
Good evening. I was actually going to speak on item number 18. I don't know if I'm supposed to wait until that time.
Well, let's
Les
take a
wrote
look.
my name down for me, so he didn't
on
know to do
consent.
that.
Item number 18 is on the consent calendar, but if you're wanting to speak on it, then we can pull it from the consent calendar, and then we will invite you up.
Okay,
All right, you may sit down.
thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, item number 4, council statements, non-action. Councilman Waldrop, we'll begin with you, sir.
Mayor, I don't have any at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councilman Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As usual, I do.
All right.
I wanted to remind folks, it's hot as Hades outside. It sucks right now. And let's be honest, it's something we get every summer, and this may be a little bit higher than other summers, but you know what? It feels like most all the other ones. I do want to remind folks, if you do not have heating or cooling, I should say, at home, the cooling center is open currently, and right now it's scheduled for tomorrow as well, 1 to 8 p.m. at the Westside Rec Activity Center. Is that what it's called? 1 to 8 o'clock. It's free to the public. If you need to use it, go use it. We'd rather you do that and take advantage of the services the county provides than sit at home and suffer. So that's there. If you need a ride, there's plenty of people that can probably get it for you. The TAT's available. I'm sure you got some friends available, but definitely take advantage of that. I'm sad Bob's not here, but I wanted to thank Bob for his service not only on the planning commission. His service does not stop with the planning commission. Bob was a local business owner here for probably 2 decades, if not more. Some folks may not know he's a Guinness World Record holder by way of that business. Was it Eldorado 2005, right? Him and Tina together, and I can't help but not forget Tina, because at the end of the day, we all know without our spouse or significant other, these things don't happen. The opportunity to give of your time without their approval doesn't happen. And if it does, your marriage probably doesn't last for a while, right? So big thank you to Tina for her service as well. But Bob was also, was a member of the Rotary Club for at least 20 years, probably more. He served on the Westside Little League Board of Directors and as a coach, volunteer otherwise, for a number of years. I served with him in some of those times, and I served underneath him in some of those times. I just want to say thank you to both Bob and Tina for their service, not only through the Planning Commission, as we all acknowledge, but also for his service community-wide for his last 2 to 3 decades here in Taft. We appreciate it, and we look forward to whoever does come up and fill his shoes within the community. I want to say thank you, Taft PD. I know, Chief, we talked a little bit about this, and also the Kern County Sheriff's Department for taking care of some commotion about the community, right? We hear some issues come up, and we're not immune from the ills that have fallen upon the United States, California, and Kern County by way of the decisions made at Sacramento or the ballot box. We're not immune from it. But I still think we're behind the curve and feeling a lot of the effects. And I'm glad that we're behind that curve, because we don't have to deal with it on the larger scale. But the curve is shortening. And unfortunately, things are going to catch up to Taft eventually, and it's sad. But I'd rather do it here in Taft than anywhere else across this Golden State, or once Golden State, I should say. Mr. Mayor, I'll leave it for the rest.
All right, very good, sir. I might add to that, perhaps we're behind the curve from feeling the ill effects because our Taft PD is ahead of the curve.
Amen.
In preventing them. So thank you, Chief, and thank your team for the hard work that they always do. Councilman Chavera.
Sure, thank you. So I just wanted to briefly talk about American pride. And I think, unfortunately, in our society today, we're lacking it. And we see it all over the media. We see it in our youth. And again, we see it in our adults. They're quick to talk about our country negatively, and it's just showing their lack of pride in our country. And it's sad because every great empire, if we were to review history, whether it was the Mongolian Empire, whether it was the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, the Spanish Empire, they all fell. They all had that in common. They all fell because of internal issues, and they were all lacking pride in their countries. We can learn. We can learn from those empires based on this issue. I was recently, ironically, talking to Les Clark, and we were at breakfast, and we were having a conversation, and the conversation led to Les mentioning the lack of credit being given to organizations, whether it's locally or to even our country, right? There's a lot of things being offered in this country by certain organizations and in this country. Again, people are easily and quickly willing to criticize this country, this community, this county, this state, but there's so much that these organizations, state, county, country, that are offering people, and they don't jump up and say thank you to those organizations, our country. They're quick to criticize, and that's awful, because there's many people willing to help people out, including these organizations. And I'll leave you with 3 quotes. The strongest weapon in the United States is patriotic American. In the truest sense, freedom cannot be bestowed, it must be achieved. And finally, citizenship is more than getting a passport. It is being part of an idea, a unique idea, that people from all over the world could come together to live freely under the rules and responsibilities of the Constitution. That's America. There's no better place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Mayor Pro Tem Cryer.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to piggyback a little bit on Councilman Rivera. Our youth is our treasure of our country. They're our future. And if you change through propaganda in our schools and stuff with their teaching, what we hold valued a few years back to what's going on right now, we could lose our youth and lose our country. It don't take much, only 10% of the population, to change our country back to like the European country. And like I always mention, we're still a constitutional republic. And Abraham Lincoln, not Abraham Lincoln, but Franklin said, if we can keep it, it's very important that remember our heritage and not get it changed because they're afraid that it doesn't match with what's going on today. I went to a movie at Fox Theater, thanks to the West Side Recreation, called Sound of Freedom. I would highly recommend for people to go and see it, to see what's going on. A lot of it is right here at home. A lot of it's happening right across the border with all the illegals coming across here. I'm not afraid to use the word illegal, because they're not immigrants. They're illegal aliens that come here illegally into the country and are bringing in drugs across here. They're bringing in slavery, and our kids that come over here are being used and abused. And it seems like nobody don't seem to care about, except for, God bless the Border Patrol trying to do the best they can, and a few other people. But our country is at a crossroads pretty much, and we need to change it. But it takes a lot, and I know we have an election here coming up in about a year and a few months, and hopefully we can get ourselves on the right course again. That's a concern I have, and I thank you, Councilman Rivera, for bringing what you're bringing up on that. And it's important to remind the people that we have the greatest country in the world. We have a republic, but we can keep it, and we're slowly losing it. And but Taft is still the best place to live. I love living in here, and a lot of people come here because of our safety and how we take care of our own. We have a great rec, we have a great council, we have a lot of many things going on for a clean city. You don't see graffitis all over the place. We have concern we have people that care about our town. So I love living here, and it's a very good place to stay, and I'd just like to thank our stakeholders here that we keep continuing it, and our family comes first, and God, and our country. That's all I have to say, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much, sir. It's no secret it's hot out there. It is hot out there. People still want to go out and do things. Kids are still on summer vacation. You can't tell a kid it's real hot until maybe it's too late. So get out there, prehydrate, be a part of it, take advantage of the cooling stations. Speaking of the heat, 2 days ago, there's a great deal made in the news about the temperature in Furnace Creek, Death Valley. Everybody heard of that place? Yep. Hottest place on earth, Furnace Creek, Death Valley. Got up to 128 degrees 2 days ago. 128 degrees. And so obviously people started talking about the fact that the culprit was climate change. Climate change, the definition of climate change is the amount of hydrocarbons people burn and consume globally and its influence on the temperature of the atmosphere. Global warming. In 1913, they set the record in Furnace Creek, Death Valley. It wasn't 128 degrees, it was 130 degrees. It was 134 degrees in 1913. The global population in 1913 was 1.8 billion people. Today, there are 8 billion people. There weren't a lot of cars on the road in 1913. There weren't a lot of aircraft flying coast to coast in 1913. FedEx and UPS weren't functioning in 1913. And yet, it set a record for being hot. Just don't understand all of that. But it happened, didn't it? There's one other thing I want to bring up, and I watch trade publications because I'm involved in the crane and trucking industry. So I get this trade publication, cranes, all about cranes. Something exciting taking place. And I want to share this with you because it's happening in San Francisco, California. Up in San Francisco, they're building a brand new data center, a huge data center. And the data center has a lot to do with high tech, obviously, and it has to do with banking. People bank by phone, and it has to do with the internet and 5G and all of the above. The demand for bandwidth, computing power, storage, retrieval brings with it the demand for zero downtime reliability of services. That's energy, electricity. Of course, it's San Francisco again. Obviously, they're on the cutting edge. Brand new, huge building. Obviously, they understand the issues related to making sure that they have dependable energy. So they have to have a backup to the grid because the grid in the state of California is less and less dependable every day. So they're building this building, and as a part of it, they're not putting solar panels on the building. They're not assembling windmills in the parking lot. They're not putting batteries all around the building. What this huge crane is doing is he is setting 15 backup generators. These generators are in giant sea trains. They're 48 feet long, they're 13 feet wide, they're 13 feet tall, and they weigh 88,000 pounds apiece. 15 of them. Of course, before they set the generator, they got to set something really important underneath it. That's the fuel tank that holds almost 17,000 gallons of diesel fuel per generator. So all day, every day, to make sure that they can deliver all that high-tech internet banking by wire stuff, what they're counting on is 250,000 gallons of diesel fuel. Now, I can't blame them because just about every hospital you go to, that's what they have for backup. Just about every police department, fire department, OES is backed up with generators powered by petroleum. It's powered by either propane or natural gas, or in the case of this state-of-the-art center, diesel fuel, 250,000 gallons of it. And that's in San Francisco. So my hat's off to these folks for making the right decision. And then lastly, part of what happens when you don't have a dependable energy system and you have to back it up, you think about what what these people invested in backing that up. You know how many millions and millions of dollars they have involved in that? Many, many millions. Do you think they have to pass that cost on to their customer, their end-use customer, or they're just going to swallow that cost? It goes to the end-use customer. The bigger portion of your infrastructure that is intermittent forms of energy, the more backup you have to keep the lights on. That's a pretty simple concept, folks, and it costs money. It's costing you, every one of us, money today, every day, and it has been. And I'll show you an example of this, a personal example. It's not a study. It's from my personal experience. This is my PG&E bill. And in my PG&E bill, it will show you that the cost of a kilowatt hour of electricity is 34 cents. That's the cheapest electricity I can buy in the city of Taft. Then it goes up to 42.5 cents for the second tier, right? 34 cents, 42.5 cents. That's California's energy infrastructure with all the backup. Just across the Colorado River, I have a house in Arizona, a place called Bullhead City. It gets pretty hot there, usually about 8 degrees hotter than it is here. Well, I have to use electricity over there too. And here's that, the cost of it. Remember, Taft, California, at least 34 cents. Bullhead City, 8 cents. Second tier, Taft, California, 42.5 cents. By the way, PG&E is requesting a rate increase, and they're going to get it. Second tier, Bullhead City, 9.5 cents a kilowatt hour. More than 4 times as much to turn on a light bulb, run an air conditioner, or anything else in the state of California. Why? Because you have to have more backup, the larger a portion of your infrastructure that is intermittent energy sources. So that's why these people are spending millions and millions of dollars, and they're going to have 250,000 gallons of diesel fuel. Just wanted to bring that to your attention, people. We need, and we will need until we're all gone, we need ready access to abundant, affordable energy. That is the only thing that separates us from the third world. That's it, the primary thing. Without it, fantasy doesn't fund government, folks, and energy insecurity leads to energy poverty. And people starve, and people die. And that cannot be argued with. So that's all I have to say on that. So moving on. Next up, department reports. Item number 5. Do we have any department reports this evening? We do, and the chief of police is going to give us one.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, Chief.
This is the department report for the month of June for the Taft Police Department. Of course, we're doing it a couple of weeks late, but thank God for 4th of July. The total incidents that Taft had for the month of June was 884. Calls for service were 415, meaning ones we were dispatched. So officer-initiated incidents were 469 in that month.
Wow.
So that number to me shows that the troops are out doing their job. Traffic stops of 40 and vehicle ped stops of 71. So total reports written in that month, 137, 10 accident cases, and we had 1 courtesy report for another department, 36 felony arrests, or 36 felony reports, along with 49 misdemeanor reports. Total misdemeanor and felony arrests for the month of June were 52. Misdemeanor arrests of 38 and felony arrests of 14. So just wanted to bring to light what the individuals are doing for the city of Taft that work for the police department.
Guys are out there working hard, doing their jobs.
I appreciate
Guys
it.
and gals, appreciate
Yes,
that.
absolutely. Call them troops.
Troops. The troops and the team members are hard at it.
It's easier. I do want to cover a few things, and it's where we have the individual schools out. And we get that, and there's a lot of juveniles running around right now having a good time. It's summer, and we're not trying to defund the fund. But I understand that there's individuals out there that are not happy with the scooters that are riding around. And we do have them out and about. And that seems to be the trend that everybody wants to buy their child one of those electric scooters. Those things hit speeds up to 30 miles an hour. And I've noticed, and we've talked to several individuals not wearing helmets, and also where they're riding. Now, we're not trying to discourage the fact that they have them or areas to ride, and it's a little safer when they're in their cul-de-sacs around their parents. And that's, usually where they stay. And of course, they're always wearing their helmet at that time. But as soon as they travel to McDonald's or Albertsons or to Starbucks, where they get a little pass where they can take off, you notice that the helmet's tied to the handlebars. And I'm just, beseeching parents to really understand, when you're riding something like that, whether it be a scooter, a motorcycle, or anything else, and it's never of account of if you're going down, meaning crashing, it's just when. It's coming. And I hate to say that, Josh, sorry. But it's just a fact. But your caution and the way you drive and the way that you're, motioning your head and looking in all directions, even when the light's green, is what saves you. I've been riding for my whole life, and I understand that. I just need parents to understand that wearing a helmet prevents the odds of going up of a major head injury. And they really need to lean on their children from this, because I've noticed that when they get a little further away from home, they seem to put that helmet aside and they're not wearing them. So I just really need parents to understand this and really have a sit down and talk with your children about wearing the helmets. And please keep them off the roadway as well.
Roger that.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Absolutely.
All right, next up, item number 6, City Manager Statement. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. No statements tonight.
Item number 7, City Attorney Statement.
Thank you. No statement, Mr. Mayor.
All right, glad everybody made it through the 4th of July. Item number 8, future agenda requests this evening, gentlemen.
None here.
I have two.
You have 2.
One of them is for Edith Lauren. She retired from the Fort Preservation Society as executive director. I just want to have a recognition for her from the council for her service of 25 years.
Okay.
And the second one, something that maybe a study I look at, is on the rails of trails. I've had a doctor approach me and talk to me about it. In fact, it just happened, it's not too long, it's today, in fact. He has thought that maybe we have on the rails of trails, have different stations on there for exercising, like maybe like a place for chin-ups or something like that, metal, and then for down the line for sit-ups or different activities down the rails of trails. As they're jogging, they can stop there and do some exercises on the trails, if that's something to look at or not.
Well, you know what? We actually have something like that on Rails to Trails right now. On top of that, we also have some of that right out here in our brand-new recreation area in Veterans Memorial Park. So that is a good idea. As a matter of fact, it's such a good idea that we already have those things.
Well, thank you for bringing that to my attention, but that was his suggestion on the rails of trails.
Well, you know what? Good suggestion. That's why I suggest everybody take advantage of it, because it's a wonderful place and every kind of exercise is beneficial. Regarding your first request, we would need concurrence from a council member.
I'd offer concurrence. Is it a commendation, or what do we call that?
Yes, and there's a policy, and you'll need to
Yeah.
fill out and submit to actually do that. We adopted a policy several years back that it has to be turned in with all the
Information regarding.
documentation needed, yes.
All right, very good then. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, thanks, sir. All right, next up, consent calendar items 9 through 18. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the city council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? Yes,
18.
okay, duly noted. Thank you very much. All right, those items are, item number 9 is the minutes for the June 20th, 2023 meeting. Item number 10, the payment of bills, some $650,000 worth. Item number 11, second reading, introduction of an ordinance updating and streamlining selected provisions of the Taft Municipal Code to comply with recent state and federal law enactments. Recommendation here is a motion to approve an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft updating and streamlining selected provisions of the Taft Municipal Code to comply with the recent state and federal law enactments and provide for more efficient and effective enforcement of code violations to enhance public health, safety, and welfare. And find the activity is not a project per California Environmental Quality Act as set forth in Section 15060C3 and Section 15378 of the CEQA guidelines. Item number 12, funding of the Taft Chamber of Commerce for the quarter of January 2023 to March 2023. Recommendation is a motion to approve the 25% allowance of the transient occupancy tax to the Taft Chamber of Commerce for the quarter of January 2023 through March 2023, and find that the activity is not a project per the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, as set forth in Section 15060C3 and Sections 15378 of the CEQA guidelines. Item 13, accept the work performed by Ken W. Smith Construction Incorporated and approve the filing of the notice of completion for the Needs Center project. Recommendation is a motion to accept the completed work by Ken W. Smith Construction, Inc. for the Needs Center project and authorize the city clerk to file the notice of completion with the Kern County Recorder. Item 14, the monthly report for Kern County Station 21, April of 2023. And item 15 is the monthly report for Kern County Station 21 for May of 2023. And item 16 is the monthly report for Kern County Station 21, June of 2023. The recommendation is to receive and file these three monthly reports from Kern County Fire Station number 21 and find that the activity is not a project per California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, as set forth in Section 15060C3 and Section 15378 of the CEQA guidelines. Item 17 is approval of agreement for the purchase of Axon body-worn cameras for the City of Taft Police Department. The recommendation here is a motion to accept the purchase agreement quote from Axon Enterprise, Inc. to be paid a yearly amount of $25,060.77 for a period of 5 years totaling $125,303.84 and authorize the mayor to sign attached agreement and find that the activity is not a project per the California Environmental Quality Act as set forth in Section 15060C3 and Section 15378 of CEQA guidelines. Lastly, item 18 is the advertising opportunity with the Taft Fox Theater. Recommendation is a motion to approve participating in the Fox VIP advertising package for $5,000 annually, add to the budget as reoccurring item, and find that the activity is not a project per the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, as set forth in Section 15060C3 and Section 15378 of the CEQA guidelines. Does any council member wish to remove any of these items from the consent calendar?
Mr. Mayor, do we need to remove item 18, or can she speak and then we act?
Thank you very much. Item 18 is,
She can speak on it without consent.
without removing it from?
Yeah, that would be fine, although you already did call for public comment on the consent calendar items, but if you wanted to briefly reopen that, then she could speak.
Okay, you know what? I'll briefly reopen it. Okay? So I don't have to remove it from the consent calendar. I can allow her to step up and speak.
That's correct.
Okay, very good. Would you like to step up now, Terry, and tell us about it?
Good evening. My name is Tara O'Neill. I'm a recreation supervisor with Westside Recreation and Park District. I'm here to speak on behalf of Westside Recreation and Park District and the Taft Fox Theater. Les Clark, the district administrator, and our team has taken over responsibility of this historic landmark in order to help preserve it, to promote economic stimulus, and to revitalize the downtown community and businesses. So we believe in order to continue to flourish, we have to do certain things such as garnering community support, circling the wagons, and developing partnerships, and exploring avenues to generate revenue such as advertising opportunities, and that's why we are here. We feel that we can work together with the city to not only meet our needs of generating revenue to keep the Fox Theater alive, but to also put your message out into the public in another fashion, because we not only can put your commercial advertisements up on the screens And those are seen at least 1,250 times a year. It's more than that, but that's just a base number. We've had over 10,000 viewers come in just in the last 5 months since we've been open. We have the digital signage that we have in the concession stand as well as up at our recreation center, so everyone will see your message there as well. It will also go out on our social media, which we have a combined total of 8,500 followers between our Westside Recreation and our Fox Theater. And we also send out publications monthly to our subscribers, which is over 10,000 people. So we think that this would be a good fit for you as far as getting the word out about grants that you have or just different things that the city would like to share with the public, and it would benefit both of us.
I can tell you that as government, we're constantly reaching out to the people because after all, it is the people's government. It is theirs. And to get them to be aware of what's going on and get them involved and active in government is a wonderful thing. And communities, municipalities work so much better when their people are involved in the decision-making and in governance. So we will see if the council agrees that this is the opportunity we've been looking for to reach out to more people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I do have a question along these lines. Tara, this could be for you, but also Craig. Could this be a mechanism where we could advertise, extra help positions for job postings or any positions that we might have open, to really kind of promote our report of concern functionality on the website, those types of things?
On our end, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'd be great. Thank you.
Allow the message to change, we'll take advantage of it.
All
Awesome.
right, absolutely, you bet. All right, thank you very much, Terry, we appreciate it. Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve consent calendar items 9 through 18.
Motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop,
Yes.
Councilmember Chivera,
Yes.
and Mayor Noor.
Yes, absolutely, that passes on a 5-0 vote. Thank you all for being here. All right, next up, item number 19, ratification for intergovernmental agreement with the United States Marshals Service for the reopening of the Taft Community Correctional Facility. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff has negotiated an intergovernmental agreement with the United States Marshal's Office to house prisoners in the Taft Community Correctional Facility. This agreement provides a per diem rate of $112 per inmate per day, as well as additional funds for transportation needs of the inmates. The terms of the agreement do not provide for a minimum number of inmates or a guarantee of revenue and is counsellable by either party with minimums of 30-day notices. The above rate are set for the first 3 years in which rates can be renegotiated. The intergovernmental agreement is not exclusive to the U.S. Marshal Service, which provides opportunity for other governmental entities to solicit bed space from the city of Taft.
Thank you very much, sir. Recommended action is at this time, I would entertain a motion to ratify approval and signature of the intergovernmental agreement between thee and the city of Taft and the United States Marshal Service, and find that the activity is not a project per the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, as set forth in section 15060C3 and section 15378 of the CEQA guidelines.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Councilman Bryan, you had the motion on this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you to city staff as well as to all the other governmental agencies that have kept in contact with us in that regard and working to bring this to fruition. I mean, it's going to be a positive thing for the city of Taft. It was when we had it with the state, and I hope it will continue to be under this contract. But thank you to city staff for working so diligently to diversify our revenue streams as a city and to find ways to bring economic prosperity to this area. Thank you.
All right, you bet. Councilman Chivera, you had the second on this matter.
Yeah, just to build off what Josh said, this is an opportunity for people to go to work. There's no excuse. I personally worked there a few years ago, and it was a great experience. And again, it's important that that staff and including us board members do our part in trying to bring work to the community. Again, there's no excuse for our local people to go back to work.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem Cryer, any comments, sir?
Thank you, Mayor. It's a great news for our city to help out on getting this going on. I just want to thank Craig Jones and his staff. They work very diligently, working with Kevin McCarthy's office to make this happen. It really paid off, and they were very, his persistence on this matter, and I just want to thank you, the city and Craig personally on that. Pardon?
I said everybody worked on it.
They did, and I know we had meetings before and all the
Now
work
the
you
work
did.
begins.
Yep. It's a great news, what's happening here. Are we gonna use the same people as far as providing like the meals and stuff?
We're working on all those details right now.
The other question was, I was read the whole thing on all the statements and those 28 pages, whatever, on there. But we had one issue with the company that we had to pay for was it the copy machine or some sort, or postage or whatever, that we had a contract with? Can we do something about that? Get it settled down?
I don't think we'll be utilizing their services.
No,
anymore.
okay, because they want it. I want to make sure they give us a hell of a good discount price. But anyway, it's a good news for Taft, and I just can't stress it enough, because we've been hurt sorely when they closed the prison down. It does impact our budget and stuff. Now, hopefully, we can do more and greater things in the future, especially our infrastructure and other areas in there. So, thank you guys for a job well done.
All right, thank you. Councilman Waldrop, any comments, sir?
Well, I think it's a very good thing for the city of Taft and the community surrounding it, but it's going to give us the opportunity to do a lot more than we were able to do, so this is great. Thank you.
All right, you bet. It's an unfortunate reality that these buildings have to be built. It's unfortunate that we have to have police officers and all the above, but guess what? Not everybody leaves the house wanting to do the honorable right thing by everybody else every day. There are always going to be those who are going to be subject to the criminal justice system, and there are always going to be those that need to be taken out of general circulation. And staff has worked extremely hard. Our elected representatives have worked diligently and alongside of us, so this is something that a lot of work has gone into, so it's a good thing. Thank you all very much. All right, I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
An emphatic yes.
Councilmember Waldrop,
Yes.
Councilmember Chivera,
Yes.
and Mayor Noor.
Yes, and that passes on a 5-0 vote. Thank you all very much. We have an accompanying matter, and that would be item number 20, staffing for the reopening of the Taft Community Correctional Facility. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. With the United States Marshal's Office agreement in place, it'll be necessary to start staffing levels, and we recommend provide flexibility to fill positions based on inmate populations and requirements by the contract. Staff intends to initially fill a limited number of positions and augment as additional inmates and operational necessity. In addition to city positions, staff intends to contract with agencies and providers in the community for services related to inmate healthcare, education, including but not limited to options for dental and telehealth services.
Thank you very much, City Manager Jones. The recommended action on this item, gentlemen, is 1, a motion to approve the job descriptions and salary ranges for the classifications of correctional officer, senior correctional officer, transportation officer, correctional sergeant, watch commander, administrative lieutenant, and facility manager. Second motion, separate motion to adopt a resolution entitled, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft updating the position classification plan for reopening the Taft Community Correctional Facility, and as always, find that the activity is not a project per California Environmental Quality Act as set forth in Section 15060C3 and Section 15378 of the CEQA guidelines.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Where'd my second come
Right
from?
here.
Councilman Chivera.
Thank you.
Any additional discussion on this item?
None here, Mayor.
Councilman Chivera, any additional discussion?
Greg, really quick, what does the community need to know if they're interested in any of these positions?
Pay attention to our job bulletins. HR will be putting together a package, probably having it out sometime this week of positions open. There will be security positions, non-security positions as we ramp up to start taking in inmates.
Great, thank you, sir.
Job bulletins, if I would add, on our website, probably also advertise on social media and those types of things. Wonderful, thank you.
How about the Fox Theater now?
Yeah.
All right, just to be clear, there are two motions before the council. The second motion is to adopt a resolution entitled Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft updating position classification plan for reopening the Taft Community Correctional Facility.
I would make the motion on the second item or them together, whichever is required.
We'll take them as one.
Wonderful.
Take them as one. All right. Any additional discussion? Councilman Waldrop?
No.
All right, no additional discussion. Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop?
Yes.
Councilmember Chavera?
Yes.
And Mayor Noor.
Yes, that passes on a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That brings us to the end of our open session portion of this evening's meeting. We'll be going into closed session for several items. Item A is the annual performance evaluation of the city manager, Government Code Section 54957. Item B is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9B, one potential case. Item C, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Section 54956.9A, Taft Union High School versus the City of Taft. Lastly, item D is a conference with labor negotiator Craig Jones, city manager, Government Code Section 54957.6, all units. I want to thank you all for being a part of this evening's meeting. Feel free to come join us in person. Have a good evening.